So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So guys, we just had yesterday we had a fight between Caleb Plant and Caleb Truax, and Plant did what he was supposed to do. I thought Plant would dominate. I actually wasn't from the fight I watched. I was left a bit unimpressed with Plant. I was expecting a little more. I was expecting him to completely obliterate Truax, but Truax is very tough. Even at 37, he's very, very tough, and he can take a punch. But yeah, I was expecting a little more from Plant. I thought he didn't look himself. He didn't look as sharp as I've seen him in the past. But nevertheless, he got the win. He was quite a comfortable win as well. Um, and I thought his performance, yeah, it was a little bit flat. It wasn't the greatest performance in the world against a 37-year-old that probably seen better days. But nevertheless, it was a banana skin, and it was a banana skin that he overcame, and he overcame it, quite comfortably as well. So, listen, it's a win. In fights like that, sometimes it's not all about looking impressive. It's just about getting the W and moving on with your career, and that's what Caleb Plant has done. But now let's move forward and analyze some of the fights. Now, Benavidez has called him out. There's a potential fight with Canelo down the road. Let's look at those fights. Obviously, when he comes up against much stiffer competition. Now, Jamal Charlo has also talked about wanting to fight Caleb Plant, moving up and fighting him. I think everybody looks at Caleb Plant, and although Caleb Plant's a very, very skilled boxer, and I've been a fan of Caleb Plant, I think Caleb Plant's a very, very good fighter. I like him. I do like him. First time I saw him, I liked him, and I thought he was going to be a problem. But I think what people see is a guy that's got fast hands, he's a good boxer. He's not hard to, he's hard to hit. But they also see a guy that's not a big puncher. They also see a guy that they feel they can walk straight through. I do think after watching that performance, I do think that Benavidez is a big, big problem for Caleb Plant. I think Benavidez' size. I think Benavidez has got fast hands. And I think Benavidez has got a great chance of beating someone like Caleb Plant. And I think that's why they're looking at Caleb Plant and thinking, you know what? We can fight this guy. And Jamal Charlo as well. Jamal Charlo is a very big, strong guy. And obviously they're going to be a lot tougher. They're going to be a lot stronger. They're better boxers than Caleb Truax. So I can see why a lot of those guys are looking to call out Plant, because I think they see vulnerability, they see weakness in Plant, because they see that he's not a big puncher. He's a guy that looks to box and use his fast hands, use his feet. He's got a good defense, but they probably feel they can crack that code and they can beat him. Because Jamal Charlo and Benavidez would be tough fights. Benavidez is massive. Benavidez is what, 6'3" or something, like 6'3", fast hands. He walks forward. That's a hard fight for Plant. That's not an easy fight, especially going off what yesterday's performance. He'd have to be levels above that to get a win against someone like Benavidez, because Benavidez is tough, very tough. He's very big as well and very physically strong. That's a hard fight for Plant. And Jamal Charlo, again, although he's not as big as Benavidez, he's physically very strong. But I do think if Charlo fights Plant, I do think Plant has a great chance of outboxing him, because I saw Korobov give Jamal Charlo problems, and I think Plant is a better boxer than Korobov, and he's also bigger, he's fast, he's in his prime, he's young. So I do think Plant would have a great chance of beating Charlo. I think that would be a close fight, 50-50, but a fight that I think Plant has a good chance of winning. I think the Benavidez fight, that's a tough fight, because Benavidez is big, he's very big, he's strong, he's got fast hands, and he pressures you. That would be a hard fight for Caleb Plant. That wouldn't be an easy fight whatsoever. That wouldn't be an easy fight whatsoever. And I don't know whether what's his name, Plant, would come through that. So if I was Plant, I would hang tight and wait for a fight with Canelo, because he's fought now, what, we in January. having said that, Canelo's fighting in May, so I think Plant's gonna have to fight again. But his next opponent is not gonna be. He's not gonna be able to fight surely another Caleb Truax. He's gonna have to fight a much more harder fight. He's gonna have to fight a much more stiffer competition. Now, I don't know whether he's gonna be willing to risk it. The fact that Canelo will be looking for that fight with Plant because Canelo wants to become undisputed. And we know that Canelo's next fight is Avni Urum, and then he's going to be fighting Billy Joe in May. His fight after that will be against the guy that, holds that belt. I believe Caleb Plant has the IBF. Yeah, because Billy Joe has the WBO. And if I'm not mistaken, Callum Smith had the WBA. And the WBC was on the line as well, wasn't it? So I think Canelo's a unified champion at 168. And now in May, he's going to look to fight Billy Joe, and then he's going to look to capture the IBF. He wants to become undisputed. So if Caleb Plant holds on to that belt, the chances are he's going to fight Canelo in probably September. So if I was Plant, I would hold tight because fighting Benavidez would be too much of a risk. I think it would be too much of a risk. Although as a fight fan, I would love to see that fight. But if I was managing Caleb Plant, I don't think that would be a fight that I'd be looking to put him in now. Just because I think, the fight with Canelo is a very strong possibility if he's got the belt, right? And also, for some strange reason, although I think Canelo would fight Benavidez, I think Canelo would prefer a Plant than a Benavidez as well, if I'm totally honest with you, because I just think Plant stylistically is an easier fight than Benavidez for Canelo. But if I'm totally honest with you, let's go and talk about a big fight. If Plant does get that fight with Canelo, can he win? Listen, Plant's got good feet, fast hands, but he's not a big puncher. I can see Canelo walking him down and potentially beating him up. Now, Leonard Ellaby said that he feels Plant will beat Canelo. I can't see that. Going on yesterday's performance and just going on in general, I think he's a good fighter. I've always been a fan of Plant, but I just don't think he's got the power to keep Canelo off. I think Canelo's going to keep walking him down. I think Canelo's also improved on his footwork. I think Canelo's a very good boxer himself. I don't see Caleb Plant. I think Caleb Plant could trouble him with his feet, his hand speed, his movement. But I just think Canelo's too fast. I think Canelo's defense. What people don't understand is Canelo's defense is very good now. His head movement is impeccable. So you're not just dealing with a very skilled fighter coming at you, pressure fighter, because normally these guys that are Canelo's not a pressure fighter, by the way. He's a counter puncher, but I feel he can now also be a pressure fighter. He's not one dimensional. He can do so many things. He's also now a very good pressure fighter. He can walk you down, and while walking you down, he makes you miss. So it's a guy that's walking at you, and when you're throwing punches, he's making you miss at the same time. He was walking Callum Smith down at times in that fight and making him miss while we're walking him down. Canelo's an elite fighter. It's very difficult, very, very difficult to beat someone like Canelo Alvarez. Very, very difficult. I think Canelo will beat Caleb Plant. I'm not sure if he'll stop him because I don't know whether Caleb Plant would be able to take that. I haven't seen a fight where Caleb Plant, just because of the competition that he's been in with, really pressurize him and put pressure on him, test his chin like that, where I'm not really in a position to say whether I think he'd be able to go 12 rounds. I'd like to think, with being the smart boxer he is, he will. But I would favor Canelo on points. But again, like I said, if Caleb Plant's not able to take Canelo's power, then he could get knocked out. But I would say I think Canelo beats him on points, if I'm honest with you. Now, remember, these guys like Caleb Plant, Benavidez, these are bigger men. These are bigger guys. These are natural 168 guys. Canelo's come from junior. Like, even Billy Joe Saunders is really a bigger guy than Canelo. Like, I don't think he is, but if you look at it, Billy Joe's never fought any below middleweight, has he? He never started at junior. He never started at junior middleweight or light middleweight. So really, when you look at it, this is a guy in Canelo who started off as a welterweight and moved up. I know he was very young, but still, Billy Joe started off as a middleweight. Caleb Plant is a 168 fighter, and Benavidez should really, I think, be at 175. He struggles to make 168. So really, when you look at some of these guys, these are natural big guys that should be causing Canelo a problem. But I think Benavidez, for me, would be a dangerous fight. I think Benavidez is the only guy at 168 that I think could cause Canelo some concern and potentially have a chance of beating him. I don't see anybody else, just because I think Billy Joe's a good fighter. I think Caleb Plant's a good fighter. I think they lack punching power. I think with a lack of punching power, I just don't think. See, a lot of people, Ben Davison alluded to it, that did Mayweather beat Canelo with size? And, you know, what beat Canelo? The thing is, that was Canelo a long time ago. That was Canelo, you know, and let's not forget, he was fighting one of the greatest fighters of all time. Billy Joe, Plant, they're not that. They're nowhere near that. So, to say that, well, oh, yeah, well, size doesn't beat Canelo, and well, we don't know that. Because if he moves up to a certain weight, then size will beat him. Size will beat anyone, right? For me, Billy Joe and Caleb Plant just don't have the punch power. You know, I'll make a separate video about Canelo and Billy Joe. I just don't think they have the punch power to stop Canelo. And that's the problem. They just don't have the punch power. And when you don't have the punch power, I don't think you're going to be able to beat this guy. I think you have to have punch power to keep him honest, like Golovkin. Like, when I saw Canelo fight Golovkin, right, I could see Canelo getting beat. When I'm seeing Canelo fight guys that are not big punchers, right, I just don't see them beating him. Because when you look at the Golovkin fight, Canelo was being backed up, especially in the first fight, he was being backed up by Golovkin. And you could see, whoa, this fight's not going in Canelo's way. But when I see Canelo fight everybody else, he generally dominates, right? Lara, fair enough, but Lara's a very, very skilled boxer. Very skilled boxer. Way better. Like I said, he's way more skilled than Billy Joe and Plant. Might not be as big, but he's way more skilled. You know, and I felt Canelo won that fight. So, to be honest with you, I don't expect Plant and Billy Joe to be able to, but, you know, who knows? Maybe they can prove many boxing fans, me included, wrong. Possibly. You know, you never know, but I doubt it. If I'm honest with you, I doubt it. But let's see what happens. Leave your thoughts. What did you make of Caleb Plant's performance against Traux? Do you think he can beat Canelo? I don't think so, but let's see. Guys, make sure to smash that like button. Smash that like button. It really helps my algorithm, really helps my channel. Smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Make sure to share the videos as well. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.